Here you go. This was actually got information.
Oh.
And then not, this is this one sheet.
Gotcha. I'll have to get reoriented.
Okay, I'm not even.
24.
Everybody.
I'm trying to herd cats now. All right, we're gonna start the ordinance meeting. That's much louder. Resolution number R25-09. Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, a resolution to be entitled, a resolution of the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, confirming the appointment of Tamara Hutchins Fry to the Garland County Equalization Board.
Move to adopt.
All right,
Floyd and
Young. All right, any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Resolution number R25-09 receives a pass. Ordinance number O25-09, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from American Rescue Plan ARP fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
That was Ed's and Floyd. All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, ordinance number O25-09 receives a pass. Thank you, sir. Ordinance number O25-10, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
All right, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, receives a due pass. Appropriation ordinance number O25-11, be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Garland County Budget Ordinance O24-33 to anticipate revenues, appropriate and transfer funds in various budgets and for other purposes. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, appropriation ordinance number O25-11 receives a pass. And we're adjourned.
Call to order the May meeting of the Garland County Quorum Court. First thing this evening, we're going to have Mr. Brian Smith come up and lead us in prayer. Dear friend of mine, he's also the chaplain for the Hot Springs Police Department. If you would come up and join us, and then after that, if you'll join us in the pledge.
Good evening. If you would join me in prayer. Father, we come to you tonight saying thank you for all the many blessings that you provided to us, Lord. In the midst of everything that's going on around us in our world, Lord, you saw fit to keep us safe. For that, we say thank you, Lord. We pray for everyone that's here, Lord, and ask a special prayer on our officials, Lord. I pray that you continue to bless them with understanding and wisdom, Lord, and pray that you guide them on every decision that they make tonight, being that it's so vital to all of the citizens here in Garland County. We thank you for everything that you've done for us, and we will always continue to give you the praise. And we ask this and all things in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Brian. You and Miss Karen are welcome to go, or you can stay. Appreciate y'all being here. Sir, would you please call the roll?
Justice Broughton,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Jones, Young,
Here.
Bales,
Here.
Hooten,
Here.
Myers,
Here.
Floyd,
Here.
Peters,
Here.
McGrew, Hunter,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Eds,
Here.
Is there anyone here who wishes to speak tonight? Mr. Fleming, your request earlier, just when that ordinance comes up, if you'll just raise your hand, you can come up and speak to it as well. Yes, sir. Chair will entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Broughton, second by Justice Brown. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. The minutes are in your packet from April 14th, 2025 meeting, and Chair will entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Hunter. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. You have exhibits A through F in your packet. You will see the minutes, the statement of operations, statement of cash position, and then minutes from 2 finance meetings and ordinance and environmental service, public works and buildings. Chair will entertain a motion to approve those exhibits.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Anderson, second by Justice Peters. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Committee reports. Ordinance Committee, Chair Broughton.
Yes, we met prior to this meeting and everything received a due pass.
Thank you. Environmental Services Committee, Public Works and Building, Justice Chair Young.
Did not meet.
Finance Committee, Justice Brown.
Yes, sir. We met last Monday night. The minutes do accurately reflect our business and everything received a due pass. Thank you.
Thank you. Justice McGrew is out this evening. She notified me earlier today she probably would not make it, but I told her no worries. We would take care of everything. Had a good man to handle her business. Human Resources Committee, Chair Anderson.
Judge, we did not meet.
Public Health, Welfare, and Safety Committee, Chair Myers.
Did not meet, Judge.
And IT Committee, Justice Jones.
We did not have anything to discuss, so we did not meet.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the committee reports.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Peters, second by Justice Broughton. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so we've got a little recognition that we want to do this evening that we're going to start doing on a regular basis because we are so appreciative of those that are willing to give their service to Garland County to protect and to serve. And we have 3 individuals here this evening that have just graduated from Alita. Going to read a little short bio about each one of you, and then Sheriff will be glad to give you a certificate of achievement if you'll come forward. We're going to take your picture and we're going to post it all over Facebook and try to make you appreciative of a Facebook account. Born in Little Rock, Arkansas, Gabriel Hooten graduated from Cabot High School and later sought a career in service as a U.S. Marine, ultimately deciding to continue his service within our local community by becoming a deputy for the Garland County Sheriff's Office in September 2024. Newly graduate of the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy as of April 17, 2025. Congratulations, Deputy Gabriel Hooten. Dad better get in there. Welcome aboard. Native born in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Dawson Dunn is a graduate of Lake Hamilton High School, beginning his career with Garland County Sheriff's Office Detention Center in September 2022 and subsequently transferring to the Patrol Division in January 2025. Graduating with academic honors from the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy on April 17, 2025. Congratulations, Deputy Dawson Dunn.
And Deputy Dunn is tied up on a call.
He is on a call, and I might add that I had the opportunity to work with Deputy Dunn as he was the door person at the courthouse, and you will not meet a more professional, dedicated law enforcement officer than Deputy Dawson Dunn. Very proud of him. Born in Glendale, California, Jennifer Barrera graduated from Nashville High School in Nashville, Arkansas, and later achieved her Bachelor of Criminal Justice from UALR. Jennifer served with the Hot Springs Police Department in a civilian capacity for 10 years, during which she acquired specialized training to include advanced crime scene technician certification. Joining the Garland County Sheriff's Office in September 2024 within the Criminal Investigations Division and graduating the Arkansas Law Enforcement Training Academy April 4th, 2025. Congratulations, Investigator Jennifer Barrera. Thank you, Jennifer, and welcome aboard. That whole idea was brought to us by Justice Hooten, and I think it's a great thing that we've started doing, and look forward to doing it for every one of our graduates in the future. We've got a fantastic team at the Sheriff's Office right now, and it's getting better every day. And thank you for bringing that to our attention.
And I want to thank the chairman of Human Resources too, because without him, it wouldn't have been possible without.
Well, thank you for giving me part of the credit.
Justice Anderson did play a big part in that. He promoted it from day one, and I appreciate both of you very much. And you all are welcome to go or stay, either one. You won't offend us if you leave. I know that you probably got family time because sometimes that gets taken away from you by your duties, but you're welcome to stay as well. Sarah, would you please read Resolution R2509 by title only?
Be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, resolution to be entitled, a resolution of the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, confirming the appointment of Tamara Hutchins Fry to the Garland County Equalization Board.
Move to adopt R2509.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Peters. Any discussion?
I probably asked this question before, but what is the equalization board?
So the assessor assigns a value to a property, and if you disagree with that value, then you are allowed to come before what they call the equalization board. And they take into account your testimony, and they can either adjust or leave it the same. Basically, it adjusts your assessment on your property so that your taxes will be in line with what they believe they should be.
Gotcha.
We lost Larry Griffin, who was serving on there, retired, and he is from the village. So we picked another person from the village. And in meeting with this young lady, and Susan, I think Sarah can tell you the same thing. In meeting with this young lady, she is very impressive. History in the military service, lives in the village, has bought and sold some property. She immediately, when we met with her, she immediately went down to our VSO and tried to give some contributions down there as well for people that we might serve as a part-time VSO, but she's top notch. I can't say enough good things about her. Any other discussion?
Is there, if you disagree with your taxes, is there a process that goes, is she the one who takes care of that process from beginning to end, or?
She's on the board. The process actually starts in the county clerk's office, but actually, she can explain it better, but
Okay.
that we have a board that has several people on it, and that board oversees the whole process. But you have a period of time, August 1st through,
August 1st through the third Monday in August, which I believe is the 18th this year. You can make an appointment. They only see people August through September, and they make a decision usually that day, and we send a letter out notifying of that decision. And if you're still not satisfied after meeting with the Board of Equalization, you can appeal to the county court, and the county judge will hear your appeal.
Awesome, thank you.
And then if you're still not satisfied with his judgment, you can appeal to circuit clerk or circuit court.
So there's there's
Yes, ma'am.
3 levels of
Correct.
possibilities. Thank you.
okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Ms. Hutchins Fry is appointed to the EQ board. Sir, would you please read O2509 in its entirety?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes. Whereas the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, Public Law Number 117-2, the act was adopted into law on March 11, 2021. The act established the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which provides in part funding to counties to address the various adverse impacts of COVID-19 upon these governmental units, including premium pay for eligible essential workers under the United States Department of the Treasury final rule definitions. And whereas the act and the final rule set forth the authority and need for providing premium pay to assure the retention and support of essential workers and public functions, and whereas the Quorum Court established a special revenue fund called the American Rescue Plan Fund by Ordinance O2114 on May 10, 2021, and whereas the Quorum Court of Garland County recognizes the need to provide resilience to our local government by providing premium pay to eligible workers retroactively as authorized by the act and guidance from the final rule, and whereas the premium pay and matching benefits to be paid to all eligible employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, and commission deputy sheriffs employed as such. And whereas an eligible employee is an essential worker who worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25, 2023, and has not terminated employment before May 31st, 2025. And whereas the eligible full-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 500 hours worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25, 2023, and eligible part-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour up to 250 hours worked between October 9, 2022 and March 25, 2023. And whereas the Finance Committee previously met and approved this request, now therefore be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, Section 1, that the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas hereby authorizes a one-time premium pay to certain essential county employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, and commission deputy sheriffs employed as such from funds received from the American Rescue Plan Fund. Section 2, that Garland County Commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, a class of employees who were previously eligible for premium pay, have been added to the list of excluded employees due to this class of employees receiving a pay increase effective May 21, 2023, which offsets the loss of premium pay.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance O2509 on second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by
Anderson.
Newton.
Bruton.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Sarah, please read O2509 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance O-2509 on its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
O-2509 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the American Rescue Plan Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt ordinance O-2509.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Peters. Mr. Fleming, did you wish to address this?
Question concerning those new employees that perhaps a few years ago that was added to this that you just mentioned. If they are being added now to the pay, why was it not added in previous years if they are qualified to receive additional pay?
Mr. Fleming, I'm not sure what you're asking, but it's detailed in here who qualifies for it and who doesn't.
It really is. It really is. I tell you what, let's skip that one and move on, and I'll address that later on. Concerning the premium pay to essential workers, I have in my hand here a printout that over we have the pandemic began in May the 11th March the 11th through May the 5th. March 11th of 2020 through May the 5th of 2023. During that period of time, besides the staff, the employees, and there's a book of them, working a regular 40 hours a week. If I understand this, and I just received this about 4:30, we have paid out $47 million in pandemic pay in 5 years. According to this, if I'm reading this right, and I have this.
I don't think that's accurate, Mr. Fleming.
Sir?
I don't think that's accurate. I know you haven't had a good opportunity to review that, but I don't think that's a.
The back page, the last page, total $47,321,247.04.
I don't think that's accurate, but I don't have those numbers in front of me right now.
All right. And then in another area concerning that, I think for the first time since you have been given, I call them bonuses, giving out bonuses out of the American Rescue Fund, this time you have added and for other purposes. If this represents the total amount of funds that are being paid out of these two funds, or bonuses that are being paid out, then what is the purpose of adding and for other purposes? Now, I've said to you before, I have sought counsel on this, and it is not professional. I submit that it is not legal, and I submit that it would not operate in your business. If you came to your board and you asked your board for X number dollars to buy a tractor or whatever, and then say to them, I want the money for other purposes, the first thing they're going to ask is, what are the other purposes? So I submit to you, this area needs to be investigated in Garland County government, Sicily. There's a lot of waste and abuse and in Garland County government. and we need to clean the house. So what is if this contains all of the money that's going to be given to these premium employees, what's
Mr.
the
Fleming,
other?
your 3 minutes are up.
All right, answer me.
I'm sorry,
Answer me.
what was your question?
What is the purpose of the overtime, and for other purposes that was read in these two ordinances?
That's been in all the other ordinances as well. It's in all of our ordinances, that language is, every one of them, even the other premium pay ones.
Darrell, are you not going to answer my problem?
I just
Where
did.
is it going? Who's getting it?
The employees are getting it.
Mr.
You have the
Fleming,
documents there in your hand.
Mr. Fleming,
Yes.
may I say that that's a legal clause, I believe, or a standard clause. I've seen it in state ordinances as well. John, can you address that?
And I've heard that, brother. I appreciate it. Go ahead, John.
You're correct, Justice Young. That's standard language that appears in federal statutes, state statutes, local ordinances, city ordinances, county ordinance. The purpose of that language is because it's put in the title, so you don't have to restate the entire contents of the ordinance. So the title is 1 or 2 lines long instead of 25 lines long.
Other purposes are the same, are the purposes from within that same
Correct.
ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. Have
The
you ever seen
ordinance
anybody,
can't
have you
al-
ever seen anybody, have we had a case of someone abusing that? Someone, we appropriate money for one thing and then we see it go somewhere else. We've never had a case of seeing
No,
that
I
happen,
haven't
have
seen
we?
that. Justice Young, the ordinance is only lawful for the purposes that are listed within the ordinance. It
So-
can't authorize anything that's not listed in it.
So again, Mr. Fleming, the suggestion of corruption, please find something to substantiate or don't keep
If you want me to address a
telling me.
number of
Please, tell us what
before this assembly
substantiates the
tonight,
corruption.
starting right there, all along here, you guys have hurt me as an individual. You've known when Darrell told me to sit down, or he's going to have me arrested or removed from this building. When I got up to speak, you guys as a quorum court knew that he was violating policies and you failed to speak up.
Substantiate that.
All right. When I brought before this court back in the 18, 19, 20, 21, I would come to this court. Now, I hope you got your ears on. I would come to this court with some information, seeking information. And when I would read those, Mr. Or Darrell would say, Mr. Fleming, your 3 minutes is up. And then there were times when I would come to this court as a citizen, asking for information to get acquainted with this court. Sometimes when I would read, there would be a motion. I make a motion that we adjourn. And then you guys would walk out while I was standing.
So, Mr. Fleming, I don't see where that establishes nothing. I mean, you're just up there telling us what we're doing wrong, but you can't establish it.
Okay. Friend, let me tell you something. And I want you to listen very carefully. What you did to me 6 months ago, right here after the meeting, I'm not scared of you. I'm not afraid of you. So you better back off on my back. There's a racial issue here, and you better get off my back.
Well, it sounds like a threat.
You're not going to
me.
answer this.
Judge,
so-
I'd like to call the question. Call the question, sir.
All those in favor? Call the roll.
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones, Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten, Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters, Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Would you please read O-2510 in its entirety? Yeah, we do. Let's back up just a moment. And Chair will entertain a motion to do an emergency clause on that.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson. Sarah, please call the roll for the emergency clause on O2509.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bales.
Yes.
Hooten.
Yes.
Myers.
Yes.
Floyd.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Hunter.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Sarah, now please read O2510 in its entirety.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes. Whereas the Quorum Court of Garland County recognizes the need to provide resilience to our local government by providing premium pay to eligible workers retroactively, and whereas the premium pay and matching benefits are to be paid to all eligible employees with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, and employees who received the full premium pay from the American Rescue Plan Fund. And whereas an eligible employee is an essential worker who has worked between December 29, 2024 and May 17, 2025, and has not terminated employment before May 31st, 2025. And whereas the eligible full-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 500 hours worked between December 29, 2024 and May 17, 2025, and eligible part-time employees will receive $1.50 per hour for up to 250 hours worked between December 29, 2024 and May 17, 2025, and have not terminated employment before May 31st, 2025. And whereas the Finance Committee previously met and approved this request, now therefore it be enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas, Section 1, that the Quorum Court of Garland County, Arkansas hereby authorizes a one-time premium pay to certain essential county employees from funds received from the CARES Act Fund, with the exclusion of all elected officials, poll workers, election commissioners, equalization board members, county library employees, law library employees, commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, and employees who received the full premium pay from the ARP Fund. Section 2, that Garland County Commission deputy sheriffs employed as such, a class of employees who were previously eligible for premium pay, have been added to the list of excluded employees due to this class of employees receiving a pay increase effective May 21, 2023, which offsets the loss of premium pay.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance O2510 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Sarah, please read O2510 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Judge, I move we suspend the rules and place ordinance O2510 on its third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Broughton. Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Sarah, please read O2510 by title only.
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to authorize a one-time premium pay from the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security CARES Act Fund to certain essential county employees and for other purposes.
Move to adopt ordinance O2510.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Peters. Any discussion?
Would you explain to those that are listening why this is being paid out of the CARES Act and the American funds?
To dispense
when we
those
got
funds.
millions of dollars in
To
those.
dispense those funds.
To dispense those funds.
Yes, sir. The ARPA funding had to be, by the end of 24, the ARPA fund had to be pledged for a certain use, or they would take it back. So we pledged those at the end of 24, and the CARES Act funding is the same thing. It's coronavirus relief money as well, and we're using it for the same purpose, to retain and recruit employees at Garland County.
All right. Has anybody in Garland County resigned in the last 3 months? Have we lost any employees?
Absolutely.
All right.
Mr. Fleming, last year we had 171 new hires. In
Right.
2024, we had 171 new
My
hires.
concern about these funds, why is it, and it'll come up, why are you transferring the interest from the American Rescue Fund, moving it to the general fund? I submit to you, when that goes into the general fund, nobody will know where it goes. Why cannot, we've got that AFC and we've got the American Rescue Fund, and we've got the CARES Act in a fund. You put it in a fund 2 months ago. Why cannot the interest be left in that fund instead of moving it to
The
the?
interest is moved every month at a quorum court meeting. The interest is moved every month. The treasurer is here. She might be able to answer those for you as well.
She requested, thank you so much. I didn't realize she was here. You requested $55,000 to be moved from the American Rescue Fund. The treasurer requested. Would you explain why and why we're moving this interest? So we have been transferring that interest from the American Rescue Fund since 2021. And where did that money go to? To the county general fund? And for what purposes? All right. I'll refrain for now, but I really think there needs to be an investigation.
Judge Mahoney, I'm gonna not exactly what Mr. Fleming was talking about. I'm gonna be a no vote on this one and not the last one. I want to explain why. When we made the decision back in May of 2023 to exempt the sheriff's deputies from getting the premium pay, I realized why we did at the time, supported it, and every time that this has come up before us, I've supported it. But we're getting to a point where I don't want any of our work that we've put into keeping all these commissioned sheriff's deputies to be for nothing. I don't know how many more times we're planning on bringing forward premium pay ordinances, but I would like to see the commissioned sheriff's deputies roll back into this. So because of that section exempting them out, I'm just going to be a no vote on this ordinance.
I understand that. Sheriff and I had an agreement when we worked on their pay raise of 2023 that that's the way it would be, and that was our agreement to
I remember it was an
remove them.
agreement. I didn't think this was going to go on for 2 years. I thought this money would.
This will be the last. This will be the last year.
I figured it would be, but I'm still going to be a no vote on this.
Understood. We have a motion to approve on the floor. Sarah, would you please call the roll?
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten, Myers,
No.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion for an emergency.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Hunter. Sarah, would you please call the roll?
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten, Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
Chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read appropriation ordinances by title only.
So move.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Peters. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Same sign. Sarah, would you please read O-2511 by title only?
Be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Garland County, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Garland County Budget Ordinance O-2433 to anticipate revenues, appropriate and transfer funds in various budgets and for other purposes.
Move to adopt ordinance O-2511.
Second.
Motion made by Justice Brown, second by Justice Anderson. Any discussion? Hearing none, Sarah, please call the roll.
Justice Broughton,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Bales,
Yes.
Hooten,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
Floyd,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Hunter,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Eds.
Yes.
All right, other business. Mr. Troutman.
Thank you, Judge. Apologize in advance for long report, but April and October are busiest month, but do have some good stuff to share with you tonight. We had a new file we opened with AEDC, a new big expansion project in Garland County. Very excited about that. Had lunch with Ken Unger, Kevin Sexton, Lori Height at the Village. I think I've told you before, but different philosophy. Ralph, you're probably familiar, but Kelly Hale had a different way of running things, and now Ken Unger, the new GM of POA, has his way, and he's seemed to indicate the gates will be open for folks that want to visit the Village and take in the amenities, and kind of let it be known if you happen to really enjoy it and decide to move there from out of state, that's okay too. So many things to talk about the legislative session, but just want to say a couple wins were keeping I believe Arkansas is number 3 in work comp rates. That was subject to go all the way between 47th and 50th, and our legislature was able to maintain that. There was also a bill, I believe it's SJR 15. Its House counterpart was HJR 1014 that cleared the way for TIF and TID districts. I'll talk to you a lot more about that in future months because it won't be on the ballot till November 26th, but it was one of 3 things to make the ballot. And essentially it clears the way to recruit a lot of the big retail companies that you all would like to have here, or we would like to have here. I'm gonna give you a case in point here in just a second. You know, we've been trying to expand our workforce. What we hear from our employers, we got employers or employees that come from all over, and we've concentrated on Garland County schools. But when we were at Keith Smith in particular, Keith said, "Hey, I'm just doing a mental survey because I only got 2 or 3 employees that live in Hot Springs, and only a handful that are even in Garland County." So we heard him loud and clear. Gary and I have expanded our reach to Poen and Washita and Bismarck and Magnet Cove, and we're in Poen and Washita schools these past few weeks. Going back to the TIF bill, did get to attend Bucky's groundbreaking in Benton. Beaver Applin is Bucky. He's the owner. That's going to be a 75,000 square foot store. If you Google it, the biggest one they have now is 75,000. So conceivably that will tie their largest size store. I don't have to tell you the traffic there at Benton. He expects 5 million customers per year, and we know how many of those are going to wind up here in Garland County. So even though it's not here, it's a great addition that I think we'll benefit from. Brian actually sent his regrets. He had to pick someone up at the airport, but he is our chairman this year. Judge mentioned all his other titles, but he's chair of the partnership. Gary spoke again, 3rd year at the completer ceremony at Lake Hamilton. I believe, Gary, I'm up here winging it, but 174 students with 200 and how many credentials? 210? 221 credentials. Just shows you what an emphasis they put on workforce there at Lake Hamilton. We had a site visit with Keith Smith, as mentioned. Cutter Morning Star signing day. Vicki gave the scholarship there for us. Academic excellence. I think you'd be interested in this. We do it every year. We've been doing it for 40 years, and we do it because Ray Owen. Ray came up with this idea 40 years ago as part of our board, and we recognize him and Carrie that night. And I also want to mention Weyerhaeuser has been our sponsor for 20 years on that event. Continue our workforce meetings, Gary and I, with Bill and Marion Tomei from the college. Oakland Foundation, we were able to give 125 scholarships there for $383,000. Gary hosted our 6th aviation aerospace meeting we had with our 5 local companies. We had all through the session, we had capital calls every Friday, and we had a legislative recap and strategy session to end the session, and largely along the ballot initiative I just told you about. Ironically, one of the biggest projects that we will be talking about this year is kind of our own. Not really, we're not doing it, but we do on the Passport Center, and they are undertaking a 29,000 square foot expansion. So they're going from 37,000 square feet to 29,000. So that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings, and it should be a signal to you all that we should have the Passport Center for decades to come. One of only 2 in America, the other one being in Tucson. We continue the Arkansas broadband Zoom call every other week. Cole and I were in Atlanta week before last. We met with 32 site consultants and 12 other professionals. Judge, I don't know if I told you or if I mentioned it earlier today, but during one of the panels, I don't know where they were from, one of my types asked one of the consultants, what is the X factor for economic development over the next several years? Without blinking, they said water. So that should make us all feel good, and hold on to that thought. I'll work back to it. Participate in the U.S. Chamber Board media strategy and retention Zoom calls, 2 different committees. As Arkansas alternate director, sit in on the SCDC board meeting there in Atlanta. Enjoyed getting to know Alan Floyd, Justice Floyd. Had a breakfast with him a few weeks ago, and look forward to that with those of you that are new to the board this year, or the court this year. Gary and I had a meeting with Dr. Wade Durden, Darla, and Bill from the college, largely on some issues we learned, good things on our aerospace meeting, and also a recap of our career counselors after draft day. Gary and I presented scholarships at Hot Springs and Lakeside. Same day, Oakland concluded a very successful season with final day of racing and Mystic Dan making a comeback to Oakland. I don't know, if, a quick aside, I don't know if you all have seen Race to the Crown on Netflix. Episodes 3 and 4 give Hot Springs and Oakland some particularly great coverage. Speaking of, my buddy Jim Woods and I took Matt Dinnerman to dinner. Oakland's hopes, Matt is only 32, he's a track announcer. Oakland hopes to have him like Terry Wallace, have him here for 37 years if he's willing. So I think he is, but we just wanted him to know that we appreciate him here. We had our Tri-Lakes MPO technical meeting last week. We continue to lobby for 7 South to be 4 and 5 lanes, but I tell you, if you drive to Arkadelphia, and I did so last Thursday, it is a war zone, and I mean that in a good way. It looks like 70 East did about 12 years ago before, while they were taking out the hard curves and adding shoulders. So you can kind of envision a really pretty highway there someday for all our visitors from Texas and Louisiana and southern Arkansas. Gary presented scholarship to Fountain Lake. We had the Metro Partnership Board meeting with Ken Unger was our special guest, talking about his vision for the village. I want you to also real quickly go back in time with me for 5 years ago, right in the middle of COVID. You can remember what a just horrible time it was for us, especially our businesses. And we were doing a campaign to feature our restaurants, who really kind of had a rougher time than most of them. Our MSA group met in Arkadelphia last Thursday. For those of you, and I think most of you know Cole, just want to say Cole got married Saturday, so congrats to Cole. Married Cora Easterday from West Central, so it was an economic development workforce wedding made in heaven, I guess you'd say. We had Rex Nelson with us all day. If I look tired, I am. We've had Rex Nelson with us all day today. We visited Majestic Park this morning. Steve Harrison and Derek. Judge met us at the water treatment plant. Judge, I would love for you to talk more about that, but man, what a facility. We got to tour that, and I'm sure everybody will get to in the coming months. We met with our Majestic Committee. We met with Origami Sake. For those of you that have noticed, Matt has come up with a whole new, I don't know the term, a fruit drink to compete with the neutrals and the high noons and all those, 4 of those, and it's called Snow Monkey. It's going to be a big impact. I think it's going to grow even faster than the sake has. Matt told us we had the. I looked it up. We had the big announcement, AEDC, and the ribbon cutting and all that on May the 16th of 2023. As you all know, Matt had one state, Arkansas, at that time. He's now in 30. So I asked him about plans for getting to all 50. He said, we'll get there eventually, but frankly, we're in the 30 that sell product. So he feels good about where he is in that position. Coming back to the chamber, Gary and I talked to Rex about workforce and basically what I tell you all every month about the schools and the traction we've gotten there. And we finished the day meeting with Wayne Smith and a recap on Oakland season. We give the scholarship at Mountain Pine tomorrow night, workforce scholarship. Want to invite you, although it's not our event, I want to remind you that Coach Pittman and Athletic Director Yurachek will be here Thursday, Razorback Roadshow event at Oakland at 11:30. But more importantly, I'd rather you come to Flavor the Park that evening at the Exchange Street parking deck. We've got 25 restaurants participating this year. You may have read about it in the Sentinel yesterday. It's going to be our biggest event ever. Just hope Mother Nature cooperates. And Friday, we give the last of our 7 workforce scholarships at Jessieville. Judge, sorry for the length, but busy month. That concludes my report. Happy to try to answer any questions.
Move for approval.
Okay.
Motion made by Justice Myers, second by Justice Anderson for approve the report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. One other thing, Gary, I know Flavor in the Park is this Thursday evening, but we also have our Officers Memorial, our Fallen Officers Memorial at 5:30 this Thursday. So I think there's plenty of time to come to the memorial and then go down to Flavor in the Park and do both, because we really need a good turnout for that. It's a special event that we do every year, and it seems like we struggle to not be in the way of some other event that's taking place. So if you can come here first and stay for a little while anyway, it'd be great.
Sorry about the conflict. Went the last couple of years. It's a fantastic event. Would you care to say anything about Visit today?
It's amazing. We went out with Rex Nelson was in town, and he met us out at the water treatment facility, which is the first time I've had an opportunity to go through there. And it is an amazing structure to begin with, but the technology that's in there is unbelievable. There's as much underground as there is above ground that you don't see when you get in there, but they actually have water in the plant right now from the 17-mile line coming from Lake Ouachita. They've got water in there. Of course, they're not dispensing it. It's not potable yet. It's not pressurized, but they're working through the systems, and they've still got quite a bit of things to do in there, but it was a very impressive system. And talking to the engineers that designed and built that, it's state of the art, and it appears that it's something that's going to lead our area at least to some great economic development, because we're going to have a resource that others don't have. We're definitely going to have plenty of water, because it is a massive structure. And if you've ever been to Lake Ouachita plant and saw how big it was, and you go out here and see this one, it's unbelievable, and it's all indoors, so you're not subjected to the things that form from being in the sunlight or the extra heat or anything like that. And they have a generator there. When the power goes down, it's not going to affect the water. We'll still have water, which is an amazing feat in itself. But it's a very nice facility, and it's going to be the part of it. Once you get educated on it, once you go through the process and learn how to operate it, it's going to be all computerized. There's not going to be a lot of hands-on opportunity for anybody to make a mistake.
Well, and as you know, a lot of cities and counties have punted on that issue, and that's going to be a problem for them in years going forward.
You know, I guess 8 years ago now, probably, there was a water study done across the state of Arkansas, and at that time, 85% of the water districts in the state of Arkansas were insolvent. And I would be willing to bet that there's probably that many or more now that are insolvent due to the fact that you cannot keep up with the recurring cost of it. But I know that the state of Arkansas has set aside some money to try to help some of those districts provide, and we've had at least 2 over the past 2 years. 56 in the town of Carthage have both had to move to bladder operation for their water because they just didn't have it. We kind of take it for granted here, but that structure is amazing for sure.
Quick fun fact, now get out of the way. We learned today, for those that struggled in 9th grade chemistry, like I did, water comes in negatively charged, and they have to charge it with positive energy to do what they need to to make the whole system work. So found that interesting. Millions and millions of gallons. Sarah, is that mine? Is that mine? I'm gonna grab that if I may. Thank you.
Thank you. Got an overtime report in your packet that you looked at. We've whittled it down as much as we possibly can. You're probably going to see a little increase coming because of the fact we had the flooding. I want to try to give you a little bit of update on the issues that we have encountered from the flood and continue to encounter and continue to uncover. We had about 7 bridges that were damaged or lost in the flood. The one on Cedar Glades Road, we have it completely removed. We have done the core sampling at this time. Bedrock that we're going to have to go down to is about 20 to 25 feet deep. We probably are going to bore down to that rock, drive H piles in there, and then backfill those with concrete. We're going to make a bridge that will stay through the next flood. You know, and I say that it was done the easy way, but they've lasted 70 years. That one's been in there nearly 70 years, and it was built on what they call a spread footing. And the flow of the water constantly undermines that spread footing. And so when we took the last slabs off, it's a 90-foot long bridge, and there are 45-foot precast slabs on each side. And when they lifted the last one off, the intermediate bent fell over. So it was really not supported in any way. It was not tied down by any piles or anything else. It was basically undermined and moved out of its way. It dropped 8 inches on one side, 5 on the other, and we were just blessed we didn't lose any of the slabs on top of it. I hope that by the end of this week, we'll have engineering complete and we'll be able to start back together with the process. And best case scenario, end of June, worst case scenario, end of July, which is pretty amazing to me. It normally takes 18 to 24 months to go through the engineering process and the permitting process and get a bridge built. So I'm pushing pretty hard on them. They didn't respond to my emails today, so maybe I pushed too hard, but I'll stay after them. We had one on, let's see, Deer Park. We had one there that lost a wing wall. We've got it repaired, backfilled, new wing wall in. Kudos to our road department guys. They have done an amazing job at keying these in and working in conditions that we really don't have the equipment to work in, to try to bore down and get into a set of keyway and come back up out of there. We also repaired the one on, there's actually 2. There's a culvert system and then there's a bridge on Wildcat. We've got the culvert system repaired. We're working on the wing walls right now on the one on Wildcat. I'm having a meeting tomorrow with RDOT for one that was undermined somewhat on Walnut Valley Road. We actually have a grant to replace that bridge on the off-grid grant system. We're the first in line just because a guy told me about it, and we just jumped on it about 4 years ago. So I'm hoping tomorrow they give us good news that they can start on that pretty quickly, and maybe we won't have to do a lot of repairs to the one there by Teen Challenge on Walnut Valley Road. We have the one up on Little Blakely Creek Road that was undermined a little bit. Tony and them have been up there and stabilized it. We have one on Sentinel Road that is on our bridge replacement program, and it's already been engineered. We're working on, I just signed an agreement today to move the energy lines that come across it. So we are hopefully go out for bids for it in the fall. We went up there and did some temporary repairs on it, made it safe, structurally sound. We've got a couple small bridges around that are less than 40 feet. So overall, the road department has got everything pretty well open and safe other than the one on Cedar Glades, and we hope to have it this summer. I know that you get a lot of calls about potholes in some areas that were scoured by the flooding, but we're getting to them just as fast as we can. As a matter of fact, we pulled our paving contractor off of our paving program, and we've had them helping us patch and go put some shims in areas where we had issues where the chip and seal was washed completely off of the road. So hopefully we can get to the end of that in the next 45 days and start back on our program, because it was certainly going good and we were making a lot of progress, but we can only do, God laughs when you plan. So we're going to move forward with it and do the best we can to get it all in place. Is there any discussion? Anybody wanted to speak? Mr. Fleming, did you have anything else?
Let me ask you this. What's the total amount that's going to be paid out of these 2 funds for overtime pay? What's the total amount?
Out of what?
What is the total amount that will be paid out of the American Rescue Fund and the CARES Fund to these essential workers? What is the total amount that
I don't
we're
have
gonna
those
pay?
numbers in front of me, Mr. Fleming.
So you're
It would be
asking
impossible to
us-
tell you.
So why don't you bring this to the quorum court?
They're
and
aware
not
of it.
be
They received that.
non-transparent to the audits that come. There's so much non-transparency before this
The
court.
overtime report is in here, Mr. Fleming.
All right. It's mentioned that these departments handles their own overtime records. How does each department, for instance, the road and the sanitation landfill, how do they keep records of overtime?
Their time cards.
Time cards.
Yes, sir.
There's no check-in or it's based upon their filling out the time card and submitting it, correct?
It is overseen by their supervisor.
Okay. You did mention, and I mentioned it last year when we talked about overtime pay early in the year, that if we keep going as we have on overtime pay, we're going to be pushing $500,000. Well, we went over $430-something thousand last year in overtime pay. Now this year, we have spent last March the 1st through April the 30th, $43,000 in overtime pay. The total pay that we have paid out this year is $119,000. And I just simply say, we're headed for another $500,000 in overtime pay. And I'll speak later on, unless you want me to address the old business and new business at this moment.
We're fixing to adjourn, Mr. Fleming.
So you're going to adjourn, just leave me sitting here, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
You've got 36 seconds left.
For the last 2 months, I've asked this question. I'm asking the quorum court to extend to me 10 minutes to address some issues before me. And the policy is that you could grant it. And I've asked the quorum court, and the reason you haven't done it the last 3, the times that the quorum court, I've asked the quorum court for extra minutes. Every time it has passed. But you violated policy the last 2 times when I've asked for 5 minutes.
Mr. Fleming, your time's up. I'll ask the court now. Is there a motion to give Mr. Fleming any more time tonight?
No.
There's no motion.
You've talked more than I have, and I'm a JP. We've given you plenty of time to talk. I've been here. You've talked. Your arguments are uncompelling. That's how I feel. I'm very distrusting of government. Anything with the word government in it, I don't trust.
Yeah, that's so said to me, Matt McKee, when he was here. But it was Mr. McKee that made the motion. I make a motion we adjourn. Listen, Darrell, there's no motion. This man made a motion the time before. There's no motion. You told me that. I have
No, sir. Mr. Fleming, I'm asking the quorum court at this time, is there a motion to give Mr. Fleming any more time?
No, I'm asking you to call the roll.
I don't hear a motion.
I move that we approve the overtime report.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the overtime report. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Anyone have anything else?
I have some new business, Judge.
Sir?
Oh,
We're moving on, Mr. Fleming.
You're dismissing?
We're moving on to new business, and I have new business to
Okay.
discuss.
Mr.
Then
Floyd,
I'll speak in just a moment.
Mr. Floyd, you have something you want to add about your trip to AAC, I believe, for the quorum court meeting?
yes, I went to the Arkansas County's meeting last month, and we first kicked off the meeting, kind of updating us on the FOIA, and just I guess clearing up some language that they did this last session. So pretty much, we're allowed to talk about different resolutions, bills, as long as we don't poll. So I could talk to Justice Peters over here about a bill, or as long as I don't poll to see, hey, are you gonna vote for yes on this or no? I'm allowed to do this in public, and, it's outside of, the quorum court. The Arkansas counties wrote 29 bills, and 27 of these bills were passed. I'm just going to kind of hit some of these bills. So the homestead credit, it went from 500 to 600. I'm just going by the act. I'm not going by the HB or the SB part. So Act 146, pretty much the court can mandate certain type of lawnmower equipment. So we can't say, hey, Garland County, you can only use electric lawnmowers now. And so that's kind of a silly one. Also, we can't have any regulations on knives. That's Act 161. Act 529, the county or city cannot prohibit a person to have a vegetable garden. Act 415, this allows a retired firefighter to opt into retirement. Act 398 provides counseling for PTSD for public safety employees. Act 922 allow ATVs and UTVs to use on the road. Act 371 to amend the laws concerning state district courts to eliminate the obligation of cities and counties to pay salaries of state district court judges, and to amend the laws concerning the district court clerks. And this should save us a little bit of money for the county. Act 733, and this is pretty much for the sheriff's department, for mental health care, and this is to get inmates to state hospital for evals and treatment. It's a program for a state to reimburse a county for psych treatment and meds while in county custody. Act 24, so this kind of represents what's been kind of going on in Jefferson County. The quorum court has to use the previous year's budget if not passed in January. So every January we pass our budget for the year. If we decide not to, it's going to go on last year's budget until we decide what the new budget is going to be. So this pretty much will pay for the county to continue to function. The only thing that doesn't pay for is the quorum court or the county judge. I'm not even sure Jefferson County's even passed one yet. Act 994 and 524. This pretty much changes frequencies if a political candidate raises over $5,000. Also, we're about to start filing financial reports with the Secretary of State, and this is going to be online. And our county clerk, Ms. Smith, will be updated on that. She said she has a meeting in June about that. Act 459, we can't set caps on rental application fees. Act 405 for our candidates. So this is moving all primaries in March and filing in November. So if you plan to run for office, we're going to have to file in November, and then we'll have elections in March. Act 763 allows the county to keep at least one voting place with inclement weather, which I don't think we've ever had a problem in the past. Act 726, this is dealing with the school board. The quorum court can appoint a new member to the board vacancy unless it goes past 30 days of being filed. And that's pretty much the highlights of what the Arkansas counties have passed this past year.
Thank you, Justice Floyd. I appreciate you bringing that back to us.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. I don't remember ever hearing one of those reports before.
All right.
On here, so thank you. Anybody, I'm gonna do your job for you. If nobody's got anything else, I move that we adjourn.
I did.
Oh, go ahead. I withdraw.
Couple of just announcements. Dudley Webb, City Director Webb, has a, I think, bi-monthly City Hall meeting, and I try to attend those. Will be Thursday night at 5:30 at First Lutheran Church, and there'll be a representative from the city speaking about animal services. and myself and Dudley Webb give a crime report, and he does a thorough job of letting the community know what's going on. Also, I hope we can put this maybe on our webpage, sponsored by American Legion 2278 in 2020, and Visit Hot Springs will be the Vietnam Memorial will be at the airport May 22nd through May 26th. This is 80-foot long, just short of the same size that's in Washington, D.C., with all of the names of the deceased from the Vietnam War. So that will be free. It'll be at Memorial Field, May 22nd to 26th. Get out and take family to see that.
There's a lot of good information out there on that right now. It's an amazing feat to get that moved from one spot to another. But I hope that you can have him push that back a little bit so you can come to the Fallen Officers Memorial before you go to that.
Oh, I will.
Because it starts at 5:30 as well, and it's certainly important. I know that the town hall is
Got it on
too,
my
but that's certainly important.
Yeah, well, this runs 22nd through the 26th. So, all right.
Good.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.